We live in a world of near limitless options. At any given moment, there are hundreds of things you can choose to do with your time. And although it sounds exciting and even empowering, it often creates overwhelm. We often end up negotiating with ourselves what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. And I know for myself, when I've got too many things to think about, too many things that I can be doing, I get pulled in too many directions, I can't stay on path. So I want to talk today about why it's a challenge and really start to think about how we can simplify things, how we can stay on track every day, how we can make decisions easier, more simple, and more aligned with the version of ourselves we want to be. So first of all, I want to talk about the daily struggle. So let's say before you go to bed, you decide that tomorrow is going to be a good day. You're going to really get after it. You've got your morning meditation plans, you're going to hit the gym, you're going to eat clean, you're going to do your deep work, and you're really going to have a super productive day. You go to bed and you're like, I'm ready, tomorrow's going to be a great day. Then your alarm goes off in the morning. It catches you in your deep sleep. So you feel comfortable in your bed, you hit that snooze button. You're like, don't quite feel like getting up yet. Next thing you know, 15, 20 minutes go by and you decide to get up. Now you feel a bit rushed and you decide meditation, you'll start it tomorrow. You don't want to start meditation when you're already starting the day a little bit behind. Then it comes to later in the day, you have a heavy lunch and you feel a bit sluggish. So you decide, probably wouldn't get much benefit from the gym today. I'll start my gym habit tomorrow. Then dinner time comes around, you haven't got as much done as you wanted today. So instead of making a healthy meal, you order a takeaway, some quick convenience, and you convince yourself, this isn't too unhealthy. And you finish the day and you finish a bit disappointed with yourself. You're like, I had such good intentions today, but just didn't follow through. Well, tomorrow I'll try again. And this frustrating cycle, on some degree, we all experience it, just plays out over and over. So what's happening? Why can't you follow through on the things that you say are important? Why can't you stick to your habits, your routines, and the things that really matter to you? What I found is when we make decisions negotiable, which means we can choose options in the moment, we very often default to the easiest path. We move towards the path of least resistance, which often has us doing what feels comfortable, easy, and not in line with our goals, which is often doing the things that feel like a bit harder in the short term. So I observed 4 kind of default things that make it hard for us to follow through. And then I'll go into what we can do to counter these. So the first default is the comfort default. And this is that our brain wants to conserve energy. It doesn't want to make hard decisions. It doesn't want to do hard things. So when we're in a moment of choosing between options, we're going to default to the one that requires the least energy, the one that is the easiest to perform. So when it comes to doing a gym workout or sitting on the sofa, we'll choose the sofa. It chooses to making a meal or clicking one button to have it ordered, we'll click that. It comes to hitting that snooze button or dragging yourself out of bed, we'll often hit the snooze button. So it comes where we're basically using the least energy in the moment to make that decision. So that's the first default that we need to be aware of and we need to push back on. The second default I call the emotion default. And this is that we generally use feelings to drive behavior over logic. We think we're very logical and rational, but very often we use how we feel in a moment to decide what we're going to do. So it's time to go to the gym. Don't feel like going to the gym. I won't go. Oh, I'm going to do some reading later. Don't feel like it. We don't do it. Oh, I'm going to do some meditation. Don't feel like it. And it's this using almost like the motivation, the energy that you're in to decide, should I do this or should I not? And when we rely on that too heavily, we very quickly realize there's a lot of stuff that we'd like to be doing, but in the moment of starting, we just don't quite feel like doing it. And that stops us getting on the path. All right, so it's another thing we need to push back on, not letting feelings drive our actions. The next one is the reward default. And this is where we do things that have a short-term payoff rather than a long-term payoff. It's that instant gratification model, that dopamine hit that we like to get. We'll do things that in the short term, we know aren't good for us long term, but they feel good. So we'll scroll our phone instead of reading something like a book. We will eat something unhealthy instead of cooking that healthy meal. We'll do something that gives us a quick reward. And this is a tough one, especially in the world we live in with access to the digital world, our phones. We're constantly given quick rewards if we want them, all right? And our brain likes these easy, quick rewards rather than the long ones. But often we're sacrificing the long-term goals for the short-term hit. And then we have the overwhelm default. And this is when we have too many choices, we often default to none, or the least resistant one. So when we think about doing lots of different things, let's say you're thinking about doing a workout, I'm gonna go to the gym today, but you don't know what to train, you can start thinking about, should I do this workout, that workout, there's so many things to do, you do none. Or you go, oh, you're gonna read a book, and you've got, oh, what book should I read, this one, do some research, you end up doing none. Or you go, I'm gonna have a healthy meal, what stuff I got in the fridge, don't know what to do, don't know what to make, and you end up defaulting to something else. All right, so when we have too many choices, too many options, we often get overwhelmed. All right, we default to something much more simple, or we completely say no to it. It creates a resistant barrier to stop us moving forward. So these are the obstacles each of us face when we're trying to make changes. We're trying to make decisions on what behaviors to do, what actions to take. And it's an uphill fight. If we leave it to its own devices, comfort wins, emotions win, reward cycle wins, and overwhelm stops us moving forward. So this is why it's so important to have non-negotiables. And I found out this for myself when I started to stop having these little debates, and instead of having 100 options, I simplify it to one. So non-negotiables is almost like having an infinite buffet of options simplified to one thing, you do it, and there's no other option. So what you do with non-negotiables is you break the cycle of always choosing, of always debating what to do. You pre-decide on one thing, on one action, and you do it every time. Not some of the time, but every time. And you choose that action over and over. So for example, I'll go through some of my non-negotiables and then relay them to how you can start your own non-negotiables. So one of mine is meditation. Every morning I wake up, first thing I do is meditate. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is, how I feel, how busy I am, how rushed I am, I will meditate every day. Another one is getting some time outside, doing some walking. Generally, walk my dog fits well both morning and evenings, but I will get some time outside and some movement early in my day. My next non-negotiable is 4 gym workouts a week. All right, so I have certain days I train, non-negotiable. Doesn't matter how I feel, doesn't matter what's going on, doesn't matter how busy I am, I will get those 4 workouts in. Another one I have is I journal or reflect 6 days a week. I sit down, write what's on my mind, reflect, and really get things out of my head 6 days of the week. All right, so these are non-negotiables. These mean I don't have to decide which day of the week I'm doing them. I don't decide in the moment if I'm doing them. I pre-decide they're getting done. All right, it's a big change when you stop having this back and forth, should I do it? And most people think they're making decisions, but really they're keeping the door open to change their minds. They're really saying, I want to do this, but if it's too hard, I won't. I want to do this, but if I don't feel like doing it, I won't. Non-negotiables cut through all that. Non-negotiables just say, I am doing this, no matter what. This is getting done. And once you start to do this over time and build that track record with yourself that you can do it, life becomes a very easy game. You start to create more and more non-negotiables in areas that matter to you. Now, before we get into how to create your non-negotiables, I want to talk about why people struggle, why people actually get stuck. And what I've observed is people rely way too much on discipline and willpower. They rely way too much on in the moment, overcoming their kind of lower self to stick to the habits and routines. They're constantly having this back and forward interaction of, should I do this? I want to do this. I'm trying to do this. And they're constantly in a battle, in this conflict. They want to do the workout, but they don't feel like it. They want to do this, but they haven't got the energy. They want to do this, but something else has come up and they're busy right now. And it's so easy to think that it's kind of out of your control. I haven't got the energy right now. I'm too busy. The things are coming up. But in reality, you haven't made it a non-negotiable. You haven't chose. You're now trying to decide in the moment, should I do this? But you should decide in advance. So the real secret or kind of power of non-negotiables is you decide in advance. You decide in advance, this is happening, no matter what. It's almost like the difference between, let's say you were going to stop drinking. And you told your friends, hey guys, not going to be drinking that much. But you go in and you go, I'm going to try not to drink today. I'm going to try not to drink today. And your friends go, yeah, cool, good idea. And maybe one day you didn't drink because you felt motivated. Next day you go, hey guys, going to try not to drink again. Let's say your friends are meeting up a lot and there's lots of opportunities to drink. Over time they go, hey, do you want one? And finally, over time you start to go, one wouldn't hurt. All right. And it's this thing, I'm trying to do something or I'm just not doing something. On the flip side, let's say you decided, I'm not drinking for 30 days. I will not touch it. 100% not touch it. It's a different mindset. It's a different approach. It sounds like I've said the same thing. I'm trying not to drink this month and I'm not drinking for 30 days. It sounds like you just repeated the same word with words. But in reality, like when you commit fully, it's completely different. You literally go, I'm not drinking. And your friends go, hey, you drinking? And you go, no, not drinking this month. It's just a very clear no and a clear boundary. And we can do this with our behaviors as well. So try to think about for yourself, where you haven't really made a full decision. You're kind of half in, half out, and where you could make more of a clear decision. All right. So with that, how do you start to make your non-negotiables? The first thing is you've got to pick an area or a behavior that you want to change. All right. And start with one. A lot of people overwhelm themselves. They try to make too many changes at once, try to form too many habits, too routines, make it too complicated. Choose one behavior. Could be a workout habit, could be a meditation habits, could be reading habits, whatever it is for you personally, a deep work, study habit. And what you've got to do is you've got to strip it down to its easiest possible starting point. All right? Don't overcomplicate, because the hardest point is getting going. Just doing a small amount, 0 to a small amount is much harder jump than a small amount to a large amount. So if it's meditation habits, you might start with 2 minutes a day or a few mindful breaths. For an exercise habit, you might start out with 10 push-ups in the morning or a little 5-minute workout. With a reading habit, you might start with 2 pages that you read before bed every night. All right, and you create a non-negotiable and you commit to it. You go, I am doing this no matter what. All right, you really have to be firm in that commitment and you go, this is it. This is it, period. No negotiating. And it's the ability to do that is actually a real big skill, because most people have never really done that with much things. They kind of say, I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make myself do this. But they haven't fully committed. When you fully commit and go, this is what is happening, no matter what, on my good days, my bad days, if I feel tired, I feel busy, or whatever it is, I will do this. That's when it changes. So you've got to strip the habit down so that's also true. All right, so example, you say you're going to do an hour workout every day of the week, but you know your lifestyle's chaotic and you haven't got the time sometimes, you fail by default. So you've got to create a non-negotiable relative to the life that you currently live, and that it needs to be winnable every single day. All right? So you get non-negotiable and you pick it. Let's say it's a meditation habit and it's 2 minutes every morning, no matter what. Now you need to get reps in. Reps, and reps. You need to prove to yourself that you're not bullshitting. You need to prove to yourself over and over and over that you can say you're going to do something and you do it. Now, at first, the mind will go, we can skip it today. That constant negotiating will not shut up at first, but over time, you push back against it. You go, nope, I decided I'm doing it. Nope, I decided I'm doing it. And you push back on that little resistance of, I can opt out, and you say, I'm not opting out. As much as you need to, remind yourself every evening, I'm doing this no matter what. I'm doing it no matter what. And what you do with these little small wins, you can override feelings. You can stick to your word and do things that you say you're going to do. And once you've done it with one thing, you can either scale that up from a 2-minute habit to a 10-minute habit to an hour habit, or you can do it with different things. And I know it sounds almost too simple. It almost sounds like, too good to believe, but it honestly works. All you need to do is you decide, you actually commit for once. You actually go, I'm doing this no matter what. Tell your friends you're doing it. Tell everyone around you doing it. Put skin in the game. Say, look, this is what I'm doing no matter what. Like this, what I'm doing now, this video, these blogs. I said, I'm doing 30-day challenge. I've been very open to be like, I know I'm doing 30 days of videos and blogs, and now I'm doing it no matter what. There is no out. There is no, I feel tired today, I will skip a day. Not an option. It's a video, a blog every day. So you've got to commit, and it's a different state of mind to commit. And what you'll find when you try this is, do I really want to commit? I haven't really figured out how to commit to something fully. I kind of want to, but I don't know how to. This is what you've got to learn. You've got to learn to decide and go for it. And that's why you start with a small win and you stack them up. Get reps in to the point where you're like, I can win this game. And you realize once you stop negotiating with yourself, you just decide life gets very easy. rather than being something I do when I feel like doing it. It's I do it because I decided it, and this is who I am. And you stop these little inner battles of always trying to win with willpower, with discipline, and you realize you can decide anything you want to do, habit-wise, behaviors-wise, you can do. Not all at once, but you can start to build one at a time, and from there, life changes. So have a think about where you have been half in, half out, and choose an area to make a firm commitment. Go all in. Say you're doing this no matter what. These are the conditions. I will not break it. Get reps in and see how it changes.